Good, I guess, good night, or is it good morning at two in the morning or 1:30 in the morning in New Zealand, when we're joined by Mr. Ηλία Κανάρη, the president of the Global Speakers Foundation. We're so happy to have you. How are you?
John, I'm absolutely fantastic. Ignore the time. It is a pleasure to be part of this international community, and I know that we have to be flexible. The good news is people say, where do you live? And I say, I live in the future. They say, really? I said, New Zealand. First country to see the new dawn of the day. And can I tell you, from where I sit, your future is looking very bright.
Excellent, thank you. That was, for me to plan this meeting, was it took all my mental and logical strength to go, okay, so we'll talk Saturday, Sunday, but we worked it out. I'm happy. So tell us, GSF, that's the sort of umbrella organization for all the national speakers associations across the world. What is your task? What do you do, and what are your plans for 2019?
Look, a great question to kick us off with. So the Global Speakers Federation, as you've rightly pointed out, is the umbrella organization that sits on top of currently 15 professional speaking associations around the world. NSA Sweden, PSA Namibia, South Africa, all the way through to the USA, Canada, back to New Zealand and Australia. We support the leadership teams and help them to grow their associations and to add value to their members. So we work with the leadership teams like yourselves, Mia, and others in Sweden, as an example, to help you grow your business. Now, within the GSF, we've got a very simple strategy. We've got a three-tier approach, 3 pillars. The pillars are called the PGA. Now, please don't mix it up with the golf. Much as we might enjoy golf, the PGA stands for professionalism, global partnerships, and advancement. What do I mean by that? How do we help the professional speaking associations to act like professional bodies, not like clubs, and get the structure in there to become more professional? Then how do we look at global partnerships? Speakers really need to do 4 things. They need to travel, trains, planes, and automobiles. They need a venue either to deliver their presentations in or to rest and relax. They need technology, virtual or physical, to help them with their presentations. And finally, they need money, because I tell you what, without that, you have very skinny kids. So the reality is that we're trying to put together partnerships on a global basis that will help you, NSA Sweden, offer back to your members a series of global partnerships that add value to the member who is speaking. Now, these are long-term goals, long-term plans, so we're working on how to develop these based on what existing relationships are in place by other associations. And finally, advancement. We want to work to advance the speaking industry. And that means that we want to educate the local market as necessary to drive change and to drive effective change. That, in a nutshell, is the GSF.
Wow. For just a quick question, your thoughts on the difference between a professional body and a club? Just quickly, because that really, we're heading into a convention where we'll be talking about the future of the Swedish Association. So that was an interesting thought. Please share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's something that I've seen happen now in a number of associations around the world, where we have usually used volunteers, and that's all very well that we have volunteers who come in. But at the end of the day, apply the same professionalism to the association as you would to your business. Now, in your business, would you be blasé? Oh, I might send out a newsletter to my clients, I might not. I might have a meeting, I might not. I might charge somebody, I might not.
You have connections with speakers and global and national speakers associations all over the world. What are the challenges that we face as speakers and as a speaking industry? What's happening that disrupts us from your point of view?
Look, I think that the whole industry is going through massive disruption right now. If you think about thought leaders, where do you go today to find thought leaders? Used to be, once upon a time, you went to the Professional Speaking Association and asked them, who are your thought leaders, who's driving things forward? But today, thought leaders can be found on the TED or TEDx stage. They're the people who, over 20 minutes, are capturing the thoughts and influencing the people around the world with their ideas, an idea worth sharing. So that's becoming now more of our competition. But add to that things like webinars. So we're changing the model also, John, to say, how do we deliver and where do we deliver? And so we're seeing all of this. Artificial intelligence is starting to grow, and we're seeing that more and more is becoming relevant out there by the use of technology. Even virtual delivery of hologram is something that's starting to happen. But fundamentally, ask yourself one question. Are you offering a solution to a problem that your client has? And if you are offering a solution, how big is the problem? Monetize that. Because ask yourself the question, why should you be offered 10,000 krona, for example, to deliver a presentation if the problem you're solving is just a 10 krona problem? The more you can monetize the problem, the more you can justify your professional fee.
Okay. So now, as change is happening, and our industry is being impacted by, as you say, by all these factors, what are the national associations and the GSF role in that? You talked about professionalism, growth, and action. No,
advancement.
Advancement. I was pretty close there. On a more practical scale, then, what is that about? What's your role, and what's your view on the speaker communities around the world to help us monetize, as you say, perhaps, or any other help?
Yeah, we have a couple of areas that we want to work on. So, for example, at the beginning of last year, back in 2018, we held the Global Speakers Summit, which was hosted here in New Zealand. In 2020, we will be hosting the 2020 Global Speakers Summit in Namibia. And this is a great opportunity for people who want to expand a business internationally or look at their professional business to say, can we get a gathering of thought leaders where we can share the best practices and use that as a learning platform for everybody? So we are very keen to help facilitate with Namibia the hosting of the GSS Global Speakers Summit 2020. And we also want to help share the understanding from the different professional speaking associations that form the GSF. What have they learned? What have we learned in maybe America that helps to attract millennials, or Australia, or even Sweden that helps you to take an aspect of the growth of your association? And we want to then share that in a mastermind type forum for the leaders to then add value to your members.
And quickly, just to ink out the language barriers here. So a mastermind format is, what is it?
A mastermind is where you would get together and share your ideas and concepts in a positive and proactive fashion.
Okay, cool. Now, I think we're running out of time, and even if we could be doing this all day, because it's so interesting talking to you. On a personal note, what made you join your National Association of Speakers, and why did you choose to become the president of the Global Speakers Federation?
Well, I was given an opportunity to be the representative for New Zealand to the Global Speakers Federation. And the person who I spoke to, the outgoing representative, asked me a simple question. They said, Elias, do you want to have a global business? And I answered that very simply. The answer is yes. If you live in New Zealand, everything is global. So from that aspect, they said to me, if you want to be successful, my recommendation, and this is what the advice they gave me, is serve. go to international conventions and offer to serve. So I did that in Canada, in Singapore, across in the UK, Australia, etc. And the more you serve, the more you get known. And I've developed personal connections in the speaking industry that have helped me to grow because people share their knowledge to me. And I've invested, oh, crikey, I know, I've been to at least 20 of these international conventions to go there to feed myself. And that's been the best thing. Having offered to serve, it just progressed. And now I found myself heading up the Federation.
Pardon me for coughing. It's cold season in Sweden right now. So everybody at the convention will understand because everybody sounds like this in Sweden at this time of year. Finally, what would be your advice or your tips or your ideas on how to make the most out of a convention? Because we have a few new members, which we're of course very happy to welcome into the community and the family. But what would be your tips to make a great convention on an individual basis, please?
Great. Two things probably. Number one is use the opportunity to network. Network as much as you can with different people and start to develop. But I want to use an analogy very quickly that a past president and very good friend of mine, Glenn Sharkey from New Zealand, shared at our convention this last weekend. He had people up on stage and he gave them all a tool that they would use in home renovation. It might be a saw drill, it might be a electric drill, etc., etc. Now, he said, over this period of time, you will see many tools that you can use. And as he was speaking, somebody suddenly started to push their drill and made a noise. Then another person pushed, and a third and fourth, and soon they were drowning out his voice. My recommendation is find one tool and use that one tool, master it, and use it to help yourself. Don't get distracted by multiple tools. At the end of the day, you can only work effectively with one tool at a time. And that's my recommendation.
Guilty as charged. Thank you. That was a perfect advice even from me. And I hope everybody else finds that useful as well. I'm sure they do. Elias, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to talk to us. We're happy for the work that you guys do, and we're happy to be a part of the Global Speakers Federation and the speaking community globally. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Take care and have a fantastic conference, folks. Bye for now.